I normally pride myself on not being very dramatic and jumping to huge conclusions, at least the best I can, but I cannot come up with any conclusion for WB Games and just WB as a whole, their strategy in the gaming market, other than the fact that they really, really hate you and really just want your money. Like, it feels like there is no connection to the player, there is no care at all about what people actually enjoy. The only care now is how can we pump this person for as much money as possible? Because WB Games has said that basically following Suicide Squad, they're going to lean in to the live service and free-to-play and mobile markets. I have 2 questions of the day today. These really help with my channel engagement and letting me get to know you. So my 2 questions are, 1, what is your favorite single-player game ever and why? And 2, you can answer this one if you want to, or one or the other. Do you have a live service game that you actually like, that you think is worth your time and why? But there's a lot of MMOs, a lot of stuff out there, so I'm interested to hear if there is something like that that you actually do like and think is well done. I will completely say right now, there are some live service games that I play off and on. For example, Fortnite. I enjoy Fortnite. Sometimes I'll make videos on Fortnite. I know a lot of you don't care, but I think it's fun. I just think it's a fun time. It's a game that's free. It's a game that if you want to, you can just access all this content for free and pay nothing. Or you could just buy a battle pass one time and just kind of keep re-earning it over and over again. It's pretty cheap. It's just a fun distraction. And I even have a Fortnite creator code, DJAY123, that people can use in the Fortnite store. And, that actually helps me in my volatile market. What's funny about this, though, is that Warner Brothers has pretty much blamed you for this decision. They have blamed the gamers. They have blamed the market. Literally, the only way to look at this, and I'm not kidding, is that they have blamed you personally if you did not support their games in the past, including Suicide Squad, because they say that this whole move is coming because of the volatile AAA console games market, which layman's speak means, hey, it's too hard to guarantee success in this market. It's too hard to guarantee that you will run to the store and buy a thing from us, or go on the PlayStation Store or Xbox or Steam or whatever and buy our game for full price. It's too hard to guarantee that you'll buy Hogwarts Legacy. So instead, how are we going to make these things live service? How are we going to make the people who do buy it keep coming back and pumping more and more money into it like an adrenaline shot, keeping our business alive? It's so pathetic and sad to see this direction from them because there's a lot of things that are going against this, including what people actually want to support. Now, before I hop further into it, if you do enjoy today's video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm sure you will. Remember, I did not say this, okay? I have no connection to WB Games. Before you get mad at me, I am just the messenger. But this whole thing is really, really sad because if you're paying attention in 2023, or maybe even if you weren't and you just want to know, Hogwarts Legacy was, if not the best-selling, it was in the top couple best-selling games out there from the entire year. It actually sold something like 22 million copies by the end of 2023. That's not including everything that it's sold now, because it's been selling in January and February as well. This is kind of a mainstay game. I know not a lot of people are talking about it all the time. It's not like GTA where you go on Twitch and there's a billion streamers playing it, but it's kind of displaying that semi-GTA staying power in a way. Before someone says, well, it's not nearly that many, I understand, but my point is that it's one of those things that continues to rake in sales every month. It's not like it just got a huge sales bump the month that came out and then it died. It's consistently selling. Even in December, it sold like 2 million copies still. Months and months and months and months after it came out. Still sold 2 million copies. And it's still on store shelves now. It's still, obviously digital, you'll be able to buy it. So that thing is still making money. That was a single player game. That is my point. They did so well with that game. And here's the thing. Even though there was a lot of controversy around that game, no matter what you think about J.K. Rowling, no matter what you think about Harry Potter, no matter what you think about should I as a player or a person, maybe I'm like a trans person, maybe I'm just not a trans person, maybe I just care about this issue. Should I really be buying from this property that gives J.K. Rowling money? I know that was a big question, right? And there were entire websites. I mean, that's a question that in and of itself I think is like fair. You answer that for yourself. It's your money. But there were entire websites popping up near the beginning that were set to document what content creators were covering this game, so you could know what people hated trans individuals, stuff like that. Like, people were treating Hogwarts Legacy's launch like a hit list. Like, we need to find these people who are enjoying this game and knock them down a peg. It was honestly kind of creepy and cringe. I mean, at the very least, it was just weird. Whatever you want to support is your decision, but all of that was surrounding Hogwarts Legacy is my point. It was a massive can of worms. I don't know how else to describe it. 22 million copies sold still in 2023 because people just wanted to play a fun game. A lot of people don't actually look at that kind of stuff. They don't look at like, well, what are the issues surrounding this thing? What are these things? Like, they don't go watch X-Men and they're like, whoa, what was Bryan Singer accused of doing? They don't do that. They don't care. They're not going to look into it. They're just going to say, oh, that movie looks interesting. And that's it, right? Because people have their own lives. They have jobs. They have things going on. They can't be informed on everything. And honestly, can you blame them? Most people are just scraping by. So when it comes down to it, with all of that garbage, all of that situation around that game, 22 million copies sold by the end of 2023. Insanely well done job for making money. They don't care. They decided that when the Discovery merger was happening, that they wanted to go more into live service. Even saying now, again, at a speaking event, it was actually, I believe, at a business speaking event. You're going to hear me clicking around because I have so many tabs open. It was a Morgan Stanley speaking event. They were talking about the entire console industry, and they actually had Warner Bros. Discovery gaming boss JB Perrette or whatever talking about this, and he said, we're doubling down on games as an area where we think there is a lot more growth opportunity that we can tap into with the IP that we have and some of the capabilities we have on the studio, where we're uniquely positioned as both a publisher and a developer of games. He actually talked a little bit more about Hogwarts Legacy, even saying like that it's obviously great when a game like Hogwarts Legacy sells amazing and it's the best-selling game of the year, but this kind of success is never guaranteed in what Perret said was a volatile market. I'm reading this from GameSpot.com, but I will have other sources in the description down below. And he went on to point out that WB Discovery's latest game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, was a disappointment for the company. So the plan going forward is to reduce volatility by focusing on core franchises and bringing some of them to mobile and the free-to-play space. Sorry, it might as well be free-to-pay because a lot of them are. As well as continuing to invest in live service games that people play and spend money on over a long time. Basically, they're focusing on generating revenue. Finally, he also said about this as well, that rather than just launching a one-and-done console game, how do we develop a game around, for example, a Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter that is a live service where people can live and work and build and play in that world in an ongoing basis? Boy, that's exactly what I want. I want to work in a digital world. I want to can you imagine you're like a single mother, like you married your gaming boyfriend, your high school sweetheart. He passed away tragically, of course, and now you're raising two kids and you have like 3 hours a week to play video games, one of your life's biggest passions, because you're working 2 jobs to put food on the table for your family, and you have to come home and work in the game? Who wants this? Like, obviously you have things like Farming Simulator or whatever. People find that stuff relaxing and fun. They sit down, they salt the fields of their neighbor's land and release all their neighbor's slaves, and then they burn down their barn and they call it a day, and that's fun for them, of course. That was probably that would actually be an interesting game. What would that be, like Farm Tycoon 1800s? Someone's going to steal that idea now. Regardless, there's people who enjoy things like that, of course. There's people like me who are weirdos who have always looked at the Shenmue forklift level, where you'd come home and try to earn money in the game so that you could complete the story, and you've been weirdly fascinated by it. Yes, I understand. But most people don't want to come home and grind and work in their video game in order to make a living in the game. And I know that there are a lot of live service games that actually handle this kind of stuff well. I mean, MMORPGs are sort of a live service. Some of them have been going for a very, very long time. Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, those are 2 off the top of my head. RuneScape, been going for years and years and years. But the thing is, those games were kind of designed to be that, and they were built to give you a living, breathing world and stuff to do. And there's a lot that you can do in those games. And there's also a lot of games that you can do things in for free. Like I said, Fortnite before, where you can just kind of play it whenever you want to. You don't have to do anything. If you never wanted to earn the battle pass and you just wanted to use default skins, you could get the same enjoyment out of that game as some guy who paid $300 in the shop to get every Star Wars character ever imaginable. You'd still enjoy it, right? You'd still have fun. The problem with WB is they've never really prioritized this when it comes to making money with online stuff. They're not looking at fun. They're looking at how they can keep you invested so they can make money. Even a failure like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, love it or hate it, is an example of this. Because with this game, they had a lot of problems at launch. It's still having problems. Some players still can't connect to the servers even now when I record this. And here's the thing. Instead of fixing that, they instead decided to prioritize both their end of March update, where they're adding in the Jonkler. I mean, I like to call him the Jerker or the Jokester or the Prankster. I think the nicest way to say it would be they're adding in the Diet Joker here. And that's their focus now. They focused on that. They even pushed off another update last week saying that they're focusing on that addition to the live service. But you know what they did in the meantime before that? They patched out an XP exploit where you could get in one of Gizmo's cars and mow guys down and get to max level. Because if you get to max level, if you're like leveling up and getting through the content very quickly, you'll have no point to come back when they finally drip feed you the rest of the content. That's how WB handles live service. That's how they handle this kind of thing. They don't handle it like Fortnite. They don't handle it like RuneScape, where there's a lot of free game to play right there. You know, you could play hundreds of hours of RuneScape on just free to play if you really wanted to. You won't have access to some stuff, but you can. I did it as a kid. I had like 42 days on that game by the time I had stopped playing it as a kid. Insanity. And most of that time, I didn't pay for memberships. That's not how WB handles this stuff. They don't handle it as like, what can we give the player? They handle it as, what can we take from the player? WB doesn't like you, and they are blaming you and me and everyone else for the failures around things like Suicide Squad and doubling down on it because their whole excuse is, well, you see, Suicide Squad didn't do very good. That proves that the console market is volatile. Even though if Suicide Squad did amazing, you know what it would prove? It would prove that people wanted more live service games. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's what I always say about WB especially. They are the most bullheaded company I have probably ever seen in my entire life. They will DMCA and copyright strike people who talk about things they don't want them to talk about. That's been going on for years. It's been well documented, all the way back to the Arrowverse shows when people were clowning on it in its twilight years, you know, near the end. And they would find reviews that used any footage of it. And if they were positive, they just happened to stay up. And if they were negative, they'd get hit with copyright claims. That was happening around Suicide Squad, where a lot of positivity was actually staying up, of course, on YouTube and other websites, but negativity was being striked in different ways. This company has been clowning itself for years. Just like, it didn't just shoot itself in the foot, it pulled out an Uzi and it mowed its own toes off with that thing. But they don't care, because it's like they don't care if they're wrong. They are so convinced that you are in the wrong, that you're the idiot, that what they are going to do is they are going to sink the ship before they admit that they need to course correct. They are genuinely going to just go for the iceberg and hope it moves out of the way, instead of just turning, instead of just course correcting to the things that they know that their fans care about. Meanwhile, and I have another channel, JayRPG, where I talk about games like this, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I will put the link to that channel in the description down below, because that's newer and I'm trying to grow that. But meanwhile, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out. It is a massive game. It is a full-priced video game, but you buy it and you get tons and tons and tons of single-player content, just like Hogwarts Legacy was like from WB, but this is from Square Enix. And you know what just happened? Actually, the director of the game just had one of the most based takes ever in an interview and said basically, and I'm TLDRing it, that video games, for some people, are one of their reasons to live. They're one of the things that people cling on to that matters so much to them, that they're passionate about and they love. And it's an important form of media, an important form of art that actually matters. Look at the difference between these two ideologies. How do we pump people for money versus hey guys, by the way, video games are important because there's some people where it's all they have left that are very passionate about this. It really matters to them. These stories, these worlds, they're beautiful and they matter. And we should really put our all into that. There's a night and day difference. Elden Ring's another example. I also talk about that over on JayRPG. Hundreds of hours of content if you want to replay the game on New Game Pluses and stuff. And that game sold like hotcakes. It sold amazingly well. Fantastically well. But WB looks at those things, and they look at their old Arkham games too, which are worth mentioning because that was also under this company. And instead of like looking at that and saying, well, how do we replicate that success by giving back to the fandom and the players what they want, what they are passionate about, they said, nah, fuck these guys. They're just a bunch of dirty money hoes. How do we get money out of them? I'm honestly surprised that WB doesn't send out press event, meetup, like invitations to all of us. And then when we show up and we go down the alley, they like gang beat us and take our wallets. You know what I mean? And like spit in our faces. Leave a nice boot print in your face. Because like that's basically what they want is bend you over for money, and when they're done pumping you for the money, they just leave you in a ditch somewhere and they hope nobody finds you. It's ridiculous. It is sad. I don't understand it. I think it's so pathetic that people like me making these videos from my house are more passionate about WB's games than the people at the top who own and work on these properties, who are telling the developers under them what to do. And it's really sad because I genuinely don't think most of the video game developers in the video game industry signed up for this. I don't think most of them wanted to make this type of pump and dump game where they basically treat it like fast food. Again, eat it, shit it out, move on, come back when we give you the next thing to eat, shit it out, move on. They didn't sign up to make that. People who went into WB, they signed up to make things like Arkham. They signed up to make these amazing deep games, not this. And if you're going to make this kind of game, there's so many examples on the market of ways that you can do it right while also making your single player stuff. Not saying, nah, that stuff doesn't matter anymore. We're going to double down on this. There's ways that you can do both. And there are different crowds who like both. That is okay. This is not the way to do it. This is so sad. It's a disappointment for everybody. And I don't know how constantly on like a multiple choice test where there's one right answer and one very obviously wrong answer that's basically highlighted red and wrong, WB is basically a guy who's like, well, I think I will pick this one. And they're always wrong. They're always wrong. I don't understand it. It's mind-boggling to me. I feel pain in my chest. I need to stop talking about this. I'm getting angry. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content. I have a lot of ways to support this channel if you want. We got a Patreon, we got memberships, we got all kinds of stuff, but just leaving a like, letting me know what you think means a lot to me. And I've got other channels in the description as well, like JayRPG, where I talk about role-playing games and stuff. We also do, by the way, have a store where we actually give you things that last, not some little thing that's digital that we then shut down in a year and give you the finger on. We actually make repurposed comic book and manga resin art on this website from damaged comic books and manga that are not sellable anymore. Basically, local stores will either give us these or they will discount them very, very heavily. We will buy them. We will make something out of them for your home, like a tray, a coaster, a keychain, a mini keychain we started doing as well. Something I'm really proud of Jill for that goes under the radar, and I don't even help with this aspect, is her handmade, hand-beaded jewelry. This is handcrafted stuff. It's really, really cool. You know, this is something that I really think people are sleeping on. It's really incredible. If you got a mom, a dad, a wife, a girlfriend, hey, maybe just someone who likes jewelry of some kind or a bracelet. I like bracelets. I'm a man. I think they're nice. I think they're neat. You know, check this stuff out because it's really cool, really awesome, and I really love it. All this goes to help support our channel. And like I said, we won't just digitally come in and beat you up and take it from you in a couple months. This is actually something that you buy and it's just yours. It's like the way things should be, the way things used to be before these companies all decided to make deals with the devil and sell their soul. I have no problem with the hustle. I have no problem with you trying to make money. I want to make money too. I want to be able to support my family. I want to be able to do a job that I love. I want to entertain you guys. No problem with that at all. WB wants to make money. I will freaking throw money at them if they want to make good games like Arkham again. I know you will too. That's what makes me sad about this. None of us care that they want to make money. It's how they're treating us, how they're doing it, how they're treating the medium as a disposable piece of garbage, and you as a disposable piece of garbage. I just think it's pathetic. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shui.